This presentation will look at the design tools used for representing a spreadsheet. Spreadsheet, as you know, application is an application that processes numbers and values very well. That's made for, it looks like a grid of columns and rows. Each row has an identifier, letter for columns and numbers for rows. And when a column intersects with a row, it's called a cell. Cell are referenced by their column and then row identifiers. And we've already talked about this. If you want to find more on this, you can look at the Introduction to Excel 2016 tutorial that will indicate how a spreadsheet is designed and how you can carry out some basic functions. Just a word about the next design that we've presented. You might notice that the column headings in the design we're about to have a look at have dollar signs in them, and the number template below them is numbers with a .99 or 2 decimal places. This is because the convention that VCAR requires with money values with 2 decimal points, and that your unit of currency is in the heading, not the column. So you wouldn't put a dollar sign and then the number in a column. You'd put the dollar at the top in the heading to represent that they're dollar values, and you would put the number with 2 decimal places below it. So let's have a look at the design and what it actually looks like. And here we have our design, and what is actually happening here is that this spreadsheet is a record of expenditure of the sales representatives. So let's just quickly look at the headings we just talked about with conventions. You'll notice that meals, accommodation, fuel, travel, car maintenance totals, and grand total all have dollar signs following the name of the heading. The reason for that is it's a convention. It means that you don't include dollar values in the column, you include them in the heading, and the numbers below them or next to them are represented with 2 decimal places, because that's the convention VCAR requires for money values. If you look at the arrows facing down below those numbers, that indicates that there is a similar bit of data in the column below. And if you go to the H column rather, you'll see that there is a sum. It's a formula. What's it doing? Well, it's adding up all of those cells from B4 to G4 across that row. So the total will go into H4. And then the next one down from, if we copied that formula down, the next one in row 5 rather, would be sum of B5 to G5. And then following the next one would be sum of B6 to G6. The same goes with the formulas at the bottom when we see our totals. Column C, the sum of column C is sum of C5 to C20. In other words, add up all the cells C5 to C20 inclusive, and then put them into row 21. The arrow across means the formulas are copied across to the G column. So they will be all similar, but represent the column that they're totaling. Finally, the grand total is the sum of the totals in H column, and that's sum of H4 to H20, and that will add up the total cost for that expense sheet. On the right there, you'll notice some rectangles with details of font and alignment and type of font and color. What this is indicating each of the headings and the format of those headings as far as font and color and alignment goes. Now, why would we include all this? It's because if someone wants to represent or reproduce this spreadsheet exactly, then they need this sort of detail to be able to know what the spreadsheet should look like and what the type, color, size, alignment of the fonts are that are used. Once we've done this, we can then look at what the solution is going to look like, and here it is here. We can see now that our design has turned into a spreadsheet. Here are our dates, our totals across the bottom. You'll also know the totals in the right-hand H column, and then finally a grand total at the bottom. You'll also notice that the numbers all have 2 decimal places, and this means that they represent dollar values because of the dollar value in the heading above them. So this is the spreadsheet that's come from the design, and clearly you're able to reproduce this easily because all the details are there.